Hey friends, welcome to the Think Tank. Good morning, Dandy. How are you guys doing? Happy Monday, long weekend over for those friends of mine in the US. Everybody got their turkey fix, their pie fix, stuffing. Oh, that's always my favorite is the stuffing. My word. Wasn't a long weekend here in Canada. There wasn't it's not our Thanksgiving at this point. I think that was back in October. I think, isn't that horrible? So, yeah, we're going to talk again about um, Bryan Kohberger and the Idaho Four. There's been some new documents dropped, so I want to go through those. And, there's something out there that they're talking about Dylan out there partying. So I'm really curious. We'll go through the article, but I am really, really curious to know what everybody thinks about that. It's been a year. So how does that work? I'm not sure. Myself, I think it's been a year. I'm okay with it. Okay, let me see what's going on here. What's this? Just checking the stream is what I'm doing, actually. Making sure that everything's doing what it's supposed to do. So first, I believe we should go through. Yeah, neither do I, Dandy. Hey, Mexi. Good to see ya. Hello, you lovely people. I don't see anything wrong with it either, but I know it's out there. A lot of people are griping about it. But I know absolutely when I was that age, I would have started long before now. I would have drank that issue away. So, yeah, I do not see any kind of issue with this, but we'll take a look and see what they're saying. Everybody's got a different take, I guess, right? Dun 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 dun. Let me see here. Why is this not showing? Mm-mm. It's not that. It's not that. It's not that. There we are. All righty. Do you have a good weekend, Mexi, as well? There we are. So it says Idaho victim's roommate Dylan is seen in a costume dancing and partying with friends just weeks after her family revealed she survived. She suffers from survivor guilt over the brush with accused deleter Bryan Kohberger. Good day there, Perry. Good to see you. Well, I think, at least in my world when I was younger, the whole survivor's guilt and alcohol probably would have gone hand in hand for me. And I'm just being honest. So I just can't criticize her for it. And it's funny because we do hear a lot about Dylan, but Bethany's just kind of sliding under the radar, isn't she? Which makes me kind of curious as to what's going on with her. Um, I don't know, is she kind of in hiding? And if so, why? Other than the obvious, you know, all the all the publicity, I guess. Or does she know something? That's kind of what I'm wondering is does she know anything? And they're keeping her just kind of hidden in the back there. Last we heard of her is when Bryan Kohberger's lawyers wanted to talk to her about evidence that only she was specifically able to give. So we've never heard what that could be, and we haven't heard anything since. Yeah, that's exactly, Perry. What do people expect you to do? Live in perpetual mourning and wear a veil? Right? Well said. Well said. You know, people really like to judge. It it's the headline. It's the headline grabbers is all of this crap. Well, good day there, Tony. Eh? Eh? Yeah, I just love that. Hey, Canadian. Here's a saucy one. Yeah, I don't know how people are expecting. Like you said, stay in mourning and wear a veil. You know, she's a kid. Yeah, I'd stay low and out of the public eye. The public is very unforgiving. That it is, Dandy. That it is. What I consider sharing as far as information and what have you goes is way different than a lot of other people. I mean, their channels, they grow, but I can't be outing people. I can't be judging people. I mean, yeah, like Bryan Kohberger, I judge thee. I judge thee. I think he's guilty. In my mind, that man's guilty AF. But I can't, survivors? Come on, back away from them. You know, maybe some people are still thinking that, you know, maybe she knew him as the rumors fly, right? I say probably not. And if anything, again, it would have been so fleeting. I just don't think it happened personally. They're also ignoring the fact that survivor's guilt isn't a choice. It's something nearly everyone would experience in a situation, regardless of the way it manifests. It could even hit her later. Yeah, I'm pretty sure shock would probably, hey, Gary, yo, tankers. I love that. Tankers. um, it would PTSD is a real thing. People that have never had, you know, bad experiences, maybe they don't know how real it is, but it's life altering. It's just, my heart goes out to them. My heart literally goes out to them. Maybe she saw more than she's saying, and that's what the guilt was about. Maybe. Do you know what? That's a possibility because, I mean, as we know, as far as those two roommates go, there are still a lot of questions. So a lot of things go, you know, run through our minds as to what possibly could be causing different reactions. But you know what? Like I say, with me, I really hope that they've got more information and she's given it to the cops because we need to sink this little bastard. Do you know what I mean? He is, oh, let me see if I can find that. This little puke is, look at him. He has no right to smile. This is what the family see. when they go to court. This is what they see. A man who thinks that he is so above the law or so smart, maybe, that he's safe. This here is a particularly annoying um, position for his hands to be in. It looks arrogant, he looks pompous, and it is barfy. It is very, very barfy. And again, this is what those families have to see. The most public families we know are Kaylee Gonsalves, her family. They're in there. I can only kind of speak a little bit because they say a little bit. Um, but I know this particular position he is in, the mother has said, is so offensive. He's just a pompous little piece of shit. Yeah, right? James Bundy vibes. Massive Bundy vibes. Unflippin' real. The arrogance. Oh my God. Oh, yeah. I couldn't imagine having to see that vile, smug face. No, no. I literally would have to be so medicated that I wasn't able to jump over those frickin' benches to get to him. I couldn't imagine, or I just couldn't go because I'd get kicked out. It wouldn't go well. I don't even know how I would deal with it, and I don't even want to think about it. It's just that he has no frickin' conscience. I believe this is all my thoughts. Uneducated, probably learned most of my shite from Scooby Doo. I don't know. But watching him is one of the most offensive things imaginable. Yes, he did. Bundy used his trial to relive his crimes. He actually tortured witnesses on the stands. Absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very offensive. Mm. So, one of the two Idaho students who survived the attacks at their shared house is emerging from her self imposed isolation. New photos show a year after the attack. Dylan, 21 years old, has been racked with survivor's guilt, according to her stepmother, and turned into a recluse, staying at home and playing video games, according to her father. But the newly emerged photos show her at a sorority initiation on September 15th with her University of Idaho friends and at an October 31st Halloween party dressed in a gold sparkly outfit. Hey, Charlotte. Patricia Monroe, Mortenson's stepmother, said earlier this month that she had dropped out of University of Idaho and switched schools, so it was not clear whether she was back to visit or if she was still in the same college. If that is the photo, she looks gorgeous. Yeah. Known as the Big Little Reveal with University of Idaho friends. So there's Dylan and two of her friends, Jessica and Mena. Mortensen had found her life turned upside down since the deleting of her four roommates in November 2022. Madison Mogan, Kaylee Gonsalves, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. The people that this is about. So Dylan said that she saw a man leaving the house in Moscow, Idaho in the early hours, but did not realize until hours later that the four of her roommates had been deleted. Bryan Kohberger, a 28-year-old criminology student, has been charged with 4 counts of M and is pleading not guilty, the little piece of crap. He remains in jail with no trial date set. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Like, are you kidding me? So this, where did that go? Over here. This is the last picture of them that day, as a group anyways. Hey there, Chopper. Hello, hello. I won't put this on. It's 9 minutes long. So Mortensen told the police she stood in a frozen shock phase as a figure clad in black clothing and a mask walked towards her, then towards the back sliding glass door and left the house. She then locked herself in the room and did not emerge until the next morning. So that would have been Halloween, I suppose. There's that tattoo that both her and Bethany got, and it's got the initials. Or is it? I thought it was the initials. Some nice pictures, I think. There needs to be a space and time for all the details to come out in trial. Mortensen's father, Brent, told author and private investigator J. Reuben Appelsman that she was isolating herself playing video games to deal with the stress. Appelman told News Nation in the beginning weeks after those homicides, she was basically dogpiled on social media. This was part of the trauma she experienced. I mean, yeah, it's exactly what happened. And then she retreated from public eye, and very few people seen her. That's pretty much what I remember. And people are still kind of hard on her, you know? It's a shame. There has to be justice, friends. There has to be some form of justice. This smug little shite cannot get away with this. It's not even close to acceptable. I really hope that those girls, if they have more information, like I said, I truly hope that this has been shared with the cops and that they have more that we don't know about. Okay, so where the case stands. It's gut-wrenching how slow everything has to go, victim's mother said, with no trial date set for criminology student Bryan Kohberger, 28, who is accused.
On November 13th, 2022, the Washington. It has been more than a year since 4 University of Idaho students were brutally murdered in the middle of the night at their off-campus home in the quiet college town of Moscow, and there's still no trial date set for the alleged killer. Bryan Kohberger, 28, is accused of fatally stabbing Kaylee.
So in my mind, I mean, I'm sure other people, everyone's welcome to their own opinion. That is never um, an issue. And I will never argue somebody else's position. I'll look at it and throw it in as a theory and mush it around like I do everything else. To me, there's not a wrong answer. Like it says, unless it's a rude answer, right? So I was seeing what some of you guys were saying in chat, and Chopper, you're right. He stalked them on social media and in real life. They did, you know? It was like, oh, bleh. This might be an unpopular opinion, but I'm glad the kid is moving on with their life. So am I, James. 1000%. If it ever goes to trial, isn't it suspended indefinitely right now? That's what they're saying. But I like the other question you asked too, like how long can you imprison someone without a trial? So maybe, hmm, I don't know what part of the process is taking the longest behind the scenes, but what if it's actually the defense trying to scramble? Do you think it's still okay to hold him in there, or should there be something else? What do you think? We did win one thing in court, and that would be cameras. Well, kind of, sort of. Somehow this judge wants to, somehow the judge wants to be the one in control of these cameras. I don't even know how that will work. I have no idea, but it sounds like he wants to have control, complete control over those cameras. It sounds like the court wants to stream it. So how they do that, I have no idea. I thought so. So what does that mean then as far as her, as far as them taking so long? If it's the defense that's holding it up, I guess he sits. They want those DNA files. That's the holdup. Okay. Yes. The judge is going to be in charge of the cameras. The Letitia trial. Oh my word. That's an interesting question. I believe after the Patriot Act, it's indefinite length of time. See Guantanamo Bay, for example. Did she? I didn't even realize that. That might be the one, that still might be somehow, I don't, yeah, Tony.
Goncalves, 21, Madison Mogan, 21, Ethan Chapin, 20, and Zana Kernoodle, 20, on November 13th, 2022. The Washington State University criminology PhD student was arrested and charged with 4 counts of murder and 1 count of burglary on December 30th, 2022, near his parents' home in Pennsylvania. He was extradited to Idaho, where he is awaiting trial. As the victims' families endure a second holiday season without their loved ones, no trial date has been set, and the case against the suspect is moving forward at a pace that's frustrating some.
Frustrating everybody. It's gut wrenching how so everything has to go. Why does this have to be so drawn out? Kaylee's mom, Christy Gonsalves, told NBC earlier in the month, it's important, I get it, but there are facts. We have certain facts, we have certain knowledge, and I can't believe that this is how it works. Damn. Unflippin' real, guys. So there was a few documents dropped. This one that was back from November 17th. It's the only one um, that's previous, but I don't think we went over it. So I'm going through the two newer ones. I thought I might as well do this one too, and that way we're all figured out. So I'm going to have to figure out. I've already got approved for the pool, but I don't know if I'm going to have to do that again. But as soon as this goes to trial, I'm going to be on it. I know I don't follow a lot of trials, but Bryan Kohberger, Richard Allen, Rex HEUERMANN, I mean, there's some out there that I am going to want to follow. We've been putting too much time into these cases to not see how it plays out. Okay, so again, this one is from the state of Idaho versus Bryan C. Kohberger. So this order addresses the motion to remove cameras from the courtroom filed by defendant Bryan C. Kohberger on August 24th, 2023. On September 6th, 2023, the state responded to Kohberger's motion requesting the court prohibit cameras in the courtroom, both still and video, at a minimum during trial and during any other court proceeding in which victims might be called to testify. State's response to defendant's motion to remove cameras from the courtroom 3. So this will explain it all right up to us, right? It'll catch us up as far as maybe a little bit finer details is what I'm thinking as far as these cameras go. August 30th, 2023, this is the thing, a coalition of 14 media outlets that will be collectively referred to as the Associated Press filed a second motion to intervene in the case. On September 8th, 2023, the Associated Press filed an opposition to the motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. The Associated Press urges continuing to allow audio-visual coverage of the proceedings is the only way to ensure that the many communities members affected by these crimes throughout the University of Idaho, Moscow, the state of Idaho, and the cities in which the victims' families members reside have an opportunity to see and hear the proceedings for themselves. Interveners, opposition to motion to remove cameras from courtroom at 2. So let me see here. I'm on my way back. Yeah, it's really hard to feel like you're getting justice, isn't it, when you're waiting this long? And we know that the families know a lot more than we know. So they're probably wondering with what they know, why is it taking this long and why is it being this sketchy as far as getting things to and from the media? No media cameras, only courtroom cameras, so they don't concentrate solely on. Yeah, because now this comes back to they were trying to say that one of the cameramen were zooming in on his crotch. Yeah, his green little peepee. I think not. What I've heard is that he had a zipper down or something, so someone else not the media, but someone else enhanced it just to show the zipper was down or something. I didn't see it. I didn't watch it. I don't pay attention to that shite. But I can tell you one thing, it certainly wasn't to see that crap. So do I, James. I think all high profile cases should be televised. It works for me too. I just want to see the proceedings, and I want to be able to stream it. I want them to give us a link where we can stream it. Past that, I don't care. Because not everybody's going to watch who at court TV or we all need streaming. You picked that up, did you? Yeah, that's a great analogy. Everything in capital case proceeds like a glacier. Hashtag Picklegate. I know I get a little bit wound up when it comes to this stuff. It's absolutely a trigger. Absolutely. So if I get a little bit creative with my verbiage, I apologize. Let's see here. What you do actually is you get paperwork from the courthouse and you go into a pool. So whoever gets that mainstream, you just basically get permission to stream from that individual. So it's basically comes from the courthouse. And I've done it, but I don't know if it's going to extend through this. So I have to triple check, right? I don't want to miss it. Alrighty. For reasons stated below, the court grants Kohberger a motion to remove cameras from the courthouse as it pertains to cameras, both still and video, operated by the media. However, the court will continue to allow the proceedings to be videoed by a court-operated camera system. This will help to alleviate the concerns raised by both the defense and the state. Okay, here we are. Okay, this will help to, it will, as long as it's a pool camera. But at the same time, the pub will ensure the public still has access to the proceedings for themselves if they cannot attend hearings in person. And I think that's the main thing about this, right? So the background: on November 13th, 2022, just a little over a year ago, 4 University of Idaho students, Kaylee Gonsalves, Madison Mogan, Zaina Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin, were found deceased in an off-campus home in Moscow, Idaho. The cause of death for each was ruled a homicide. As news of this tragedy broke, the media outlets from around the country descended upon Moscow. As law enforcement investigated, news stations, newspapers, and social media were flooded with stories and speculation about the homicides. Well, we know why there's speculation, right, friends? When you've just given a little tiny bit, it puts people's mind on a spin. Oh, my word. So on December 30th, 2022, Kohberger was arrested and charged with 4 counts of M in the first degree, 1 count of burglary. Again, media outlets descended upon Moscow, and the news coverage quickly focused on Kohberger, as it should. Given the high-profile nature of the case and the concerns around Kohberger's fundamental right to a fair trial by an impartial jury, the parties stipulated to entry of a non-dissemination order. On May 1st, 2023, a coalition of 20 media outlets which encompasses the 14 media outlets now at issue. So we have gone over this previously, but I don't think it's the same document. I looked at the dates and I don't think it is. If not, well, it's a refresher. Alrighty, so at a scheduled conference conducted on May 22nd, 2023, the court asked the parties at the Associated Press to brief the issue of whether cameras should be continued to be allowed in a courtroom during proceedings in the case. Oral argument on the issue was heard on June 9th, 2023. The state was represented by William W. Thompson Jr., Bradley J. Rudley, Latah County Prosecutor's Office. Defendant Bryan C. Kohberger was represented by Ann C. Taylor and J. W. Logsdon, Kootenai County Public Defender's Office. The Associated Press was represented by Wendy Olson and Corey Carone. At the time, both the defense and the prosecution were opposed to cameras in the courtroom, especially at trial. Nevertheless, the court reserved its ruling on the issue and has continued to allow cameras operated by the media at all public hearings. As the case has progressed, media coverage, both by legitimate media outlets and journalists, or by individuals on social media platforms, that would be me, that would be us, continues to be significant nationwide. On August 24, 2023, the defense filed a motion to remove cameras from the courtroom. On August 30th, 2023, the Associated Press filed a second motion to intervene in the case, and on September 8th, 2023, filed an opposition to Kohberger's motion. On December 6th, 2023, the state filed a response to Kohberger's motion, arguing that cameras should at least be banned during hearings, including trial, where vulnerable witnesses or victims are called to testify. On September 13th, 2023, a hearing on Kohberger's motion was held. The state was represented by William W. Thompson Jr., Bradley J. Rudley, Jeff Nye, and Ingrid Beatty. Kohberger was represented by Ann C. Taylor, J. W. Logsdon, and Alyssa Massif. The Associated Press was represented by Wendy Olson and Corey Carone. Okay, the issues. The first issue pending before the court is whether the Associated Press has the right to intervene in a case to challenge Kohberger's motion for the reasons stated below and articulated on the record at a hearing on September 13th, 2023. The court holds that the Associated Press does not have standing to intervene in the case at this juncture. Nevertheless, the court will allow the Associated Press to participate as an interested media coalition. The next issue is whether the court should exercise its discretion and remove cameras from the courtroom to protect Kohberger's right to a fair trial and to protect vulnerable witnesses and victims who may be called to testify at trial and other hearings. For the reasons stated below, the court will prohibit still video and audio coverage by journalists and the public. However, a court-operated video and audio system will be used to record the stream. The proceedings allow the media and the public access to view and hear for themselves what is taking place in the courtroom. This will alleviate some of the concerns raised by the parties while addressing the media's concerns with removing cameras from the courtroom. So this is all good, guys. This is all good. You know, I didn't realize or didn't remember, I guess, more than anything, is that Letitia was one pool camera. So if they set it up like that, boom, it's all good. It's all good. If it were me, I could explain away all the evidence, car and phone in the vicinity, checking to see if they were having a party, DNA on the sheath, picked it up at a party there. Yeah, Bundy Kohberger wouldn't even plead. It's like the defense wanted to create an alibi once they heard what the prosecution had. Very slippery. And they even said that, James. They said it will become clear as the prosecution goes through their case. So yeah, they wanted to hear what the prosecution had and go, "Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, that no, it wasn't me." Like what? Hello, Tracy. Good to see you. People partied in that house when the renters weren't even there. If you believe that footage, I almost think they were there, but they didn't want to go to the door. I have a funny feeling when Maddie was talking on the phone that she was one of those girls upstairs, kind of. Do you think that's possible? It's just my thoughts, just my own thoughts. The Associated Press does not have the right to interfere with the trial, only to report on it. This is basic stuff. Yeah, well said. If I were the defense, I would ask if anybody else's DNA was present on that sheet besides BK. And they have, and there isn't. That is the only DNA on the entire sheet, is that on the inside of that button. Snap. The defense always waits to see what the prosecution has, and they by law have to give them everything they have. Well, that's the thing. So they were just waiting to see how it was dealt with and see if they can find flaw in it. That's my opinion, anyways. I don't think prosecutors would go for the DP if they didn't have the evidence to support a conviction, in my opinion. Yeah, that's kind of where I sit. But you know what? Like I said, there's not a wrong answer. You have the right to remain silent, but that may be used against you. Do you know the paragraph? That's how they defend the accusation. Yeah, because they haven't come up with anything at this point. There's been nothing yet, but we haven't seen it, have we? We haven't seen anything that the defense has yet. We haven't seen really what the prosecutors have. We've only seen what they want to put out to the public. That's all they've seen. And of course, as with all trials, not just big or small, there's always leaks. You can't hold an alibi around the prosecution's evidence. That's what they were trying to do, right? DP cases are so much longer. Yeah, yeah. It is becoming guilty until proven you're innocent. It really has. You know, a lot of cases are questionable from what I've seen. Um, he's guilty AF, but that's just out of the stuff that I've seen with my opinion. I honestly believe, and this is why I love to think tank, everybody has had different life experiences that turn us into the people we are and give us the opinions from our experiences based on our experiences, right? The defense has to have all the prosecution's evidence so they can defend against it. Yep, yep, absolutely. I think we've got some documentation on that too. Intervention. This is not widespread right of Crest or anyone else to routinely intervene in Idaho criminal proceedings. E-writ petition Let's do that again. E, petition for writ of mandamus or writ of prohibition. Instead, the Idaho Supreme Court has endorsed a limited right applicable when a trial court's responsibility to balance the Sixth Amendment right of the accused and the First Amendment interest of the media becomes an issue. This is no First Amendment or an other constitutional right to record, either by audio or visual transmission, any court proceedings in Idaho, as noted by the Ninth Circuit, and then they're giving their case notes. Press does enjoy a constitutional interest in access to criminal court proceedings and criminal justice process. The U.S. Supreme Court described that right only as a right to sit, listen, watch, and report. Because the Associated Press does not have a constitutional right at stake when it comes to cameras in the courtroom, intervention is not appropriate. Thus, the Associated Press' second motion to intervene is denied. However, the court will treat the Associated Press like amicus. Okay, curiae, is that how you say that? So someone who is not a party to a lawsuit who petitions the court is requested by the court to file a brief in the action because that person has a strong interest in the subject matter. Amicus curiae, I think. So 2, an Idaho decision to limit, restrict, and prohibit audiovisual coverage at any proceeding is left to the discretion of the judge over the case. Such decisions are not subject to appellate review. The presiding judge maintains the right to limit audio-video coverage of any public hearing when the interest of the administration of justice requires. Authorization may be revoked at any time without prior notice when, in the discretion of the court, it appears that the audio-video coverage is interfering in any way with the proper administration of justice. The Supreme Court has recognized a defendant's right to a trial by impartial jury free from outside influences in the face of massive, pervasive, and prejudicial publicity. While acknowledged that a responsible press have always been as regarded the handmaiden of effective judicial administration, especially in the criminal field, the court chastised the trial judge for not taking strong measures to ensure shepherds, so this is one of the previous cases mentioned, right to a fair trial. While pretrial publicity, even pervasive, adverse publicity does not inevitably lead to an unfair trial. The capacity of the jury, eventually impaneled to decide the case fairly, is influenced by the tone and extent of the publicity. While only the occasional case presents a danger of prejudice from pretrial publicity, this case, as recognized by the Idaho Supreme Court, has drawn widespread publicity, garnering worldwide media attention and much speculation, and therefore pretrial publicity does present a real danger of prejudice. Recognizing the high-profile nature of the case and the extensive coverage it received along with the need to minimize possible pretrial prejudice. The parties agreed that cameras should be prohibited from the courtroom, especially at trial and any other hearings where vulnerable victims and witnesses may be called to testify, as noted by District Judge Stephen W. Boyce in his memorandum decision and prohibiting video and photographic coverage of a case. And this was State of Idaho versus Lori Vallow. The agreement between the state and defense on any issue in capital cases is rare, further confirming to the court the legitimacy of the level of concern counsel has raised. The same is true in this case. So, what do you guys think about all this? Do you think that we're going to get, do you think there's a delay on justice due to the publicity? What do you think about that? I mean, look at OJ. In my mind, I mean, that there was no effect. I mean, he got off. Are you kidding me? And there wasn't, I mean, yeah, there was a lot of people, I guess, on his side, but I do believe there was more that weren't. Look at this POS, guys. I don't know. I just don't know. You know, and a lot of talk as well is on whether or not one of these girls here, one of the victims, was being followed. Do you believe that Maddie, Kaylee, or Xana were the targets and everybody else was kind of like collateral damage? I just love that because it's so true. House with no furniture. Hello, pure American Psycho vibes. Mm, that's right. He was known to have issues with that previous. He really, really was. You know, it's talk about American Psycho. Look at this first guy here. Look at the guy in black with the glasses on top. Now, that looks like American Psycho in my personal opinion. And look at what he's carrying. Doesn't like, I'm sorry, Kohberger, yeah, creepy AF. But I'm also thinking that Buddy here in the front, creepy AF. mm, unreal. You know, and I was looking at all these pictures as well earlier, the ones where he was getting that ticket. Well, actually talked himself out of that ticket. Look at his eyes, guys. Like, still, it's, oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, look at Letitia. Look at Brian driving around. Look at Alex Murdoch. It was the lollipop guild. Yeah, I mean, nothing's coming out. I have not seen one little shred of evidence that's come out going, oh man, I think they made a mistake. No. Many years ago, the whole truth did not always avail itself in a court. Yeah, that's very true as well. Unless they can physically put him in that house during those crimes, he may not be an easy conviction. Even OJ had, he did. He did. It's like, oh my God. No, even are you up to no good, say that. You still use that as an alibi in a quadruple case. Well, that's my thoughts. But he was just, you know, driving around randomly because that's what he does, and had his phone off while he was at a place in the vicinity. If we follow cameras, Isn't he some? I don't mean to like, I know he's far from the topic, but what? Oh my God. He's just scary looking. He's just scary. It does. It only takes one juror. That's all it takes. Yeah, well said. Well said. The police pulled over. Stop. He did look. What? Again, again, said it before. He has had a life where no is not an option. Yeah, it does. Pop that up for a second. Um, Good question. Maybe in one of the cities? People with OCD get ladies of the night. Tell me as eyes don't say I want to take part of your DVD player because there might be a secret camera. Yeah, this is the thing. I agree with you, Shauna. This is what we've kind of heard, right? I think he had problems in the area of girls, friends or otherwise. No one has come forward saying they dated him. Not a single one. Yeah, he just looks psycho to me. He does. Like, I would want him wearing that outfit after me. Okay, let's see here. Let's see here. Alrighty, so you have a hydration. So, as demonstrated by some examples presented in the defense, motion to remove cameras from courtroom, media cameras, both still and video, have and continue to zoom in on Kohberger despite the court's order that images should capture the courtroom in its entirety. At least some of the images of Kohberger entering and exiting the courtroom. This is in direct violation of the court's previous directive not to film or take photographs until the court is on the record and to immediately stop recording and taking photographs when the hearing concludes. It is the intense focus on Kohberger and his every move, along with adverse headlines and news articles, that leads the court to conclude that continued photograph and video coverage inside the courtroom by the media should no longer be committed. This step should help ensure Kohberger's right to a fair trial by an impartial jury and achieve a proper administration of justice. Additionally, the defense counsel has raised continued concerns with video footage, photographs, capturing private documents on counsel table. This is again in violation of the court's directive. The state has also raised issues of vulnerable victims and witnesses being filmed during testimony. And at this juncture, the court has no confidence that directives to stop photographing or videoing during such testimony would be adhered to. Further, the duty of the bailiffs within the courtroom are to ensure the safe and secure environment is well being eclipsed by the burden to monitor media and public who may be audio recording, videoing, or photographing the proceedings. Okay. To be clear, The court is not accusing all journalists and media outlets of violating the court's orders. However, a court-operated video system will give the court greater control over what is being videoed, will lessen the burden on the bailiffs, and will help to alleviate counsel's concerns, and will allow the media and public access to burden to, okay. Access to the video footage and the proceedings. Okay. The conclusions. For the reasons set forth above, audio-visual coverage of the proceeding in this case will be exclusively done by the court. Media and the public are not allowed to video, photograph, audio record, or otherwise transmit during the proceedings. Further public hearings in this case will be video recorded. That live video stream will be available for the public and the media to view at the court's YouTube channel. The court receives the right to amend or prohibit audio-video coverage. In the future, it will be, if it will be determined that the videoing of the proceedings is interfering in a way with the proper administration of justice. All righty. So this is what the court has come up with as far as the court. And the cameras situation. Sorry, just taking a look over here. Hello. Oh, sorry. Damn winter. So what do you guys think? Do you think that that's good enough as far as us getting access? Or do you think we need more? I'm pretty comfortable with it. Talking about protests. They are protesting in Moscow, or sorry, not in Moscow, in Delphi today at the courthouse. This has a lot to do with everything that's been going on as far as access, what the court's been doing as far as whether or not that whole Odinism thing totally screwed up the case. You know, there's a lot of things I do believe that they're protesting right now, but everybody right now in the area is protesting at the courthouse, trying to get some sense made. Yeah. So if you are in that area, go join them. It started at 9 o'clock, I think. Now, Delphi time. I'll have to double check. I'll double check and find out if it's different from 9 o'clock. Geez, I'm trying to figure out the time zone too. There's so many different time zones. It just blows me away. Can't we all just get along? I know there's only a few, but it feels like it's a kabillion. Okay, so here we have Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger, and this was on the 20th. Can you guys see it well enough? The state of Idaho, by and through the Lehigh County prosecuting attorney, respectfully moves the court pursuant to Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32 G1 and Idaho Code 74-124 for a temporary order sealing Exhibit 1 attached to this state's response to defendant's 10th supplemental request for discovery, herein release or disclose, would interfere with enforcement proceedings, deprive a person to a right to a fair trial, to an impartial adjudication, constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy, disclose the identity of a confidential source and or disclose the investigative techniques and procedures. The state seeks this protection pending a hearing on the matter. Wherefore, the state respectfully prays that the court seal from Public Disclosure Exhibit 1 attached to the state's response to defendant's 10th supplemental request for discovery herein under the provision of Idaho Court Administrative Rule 32 G1 and Idaho Code 74-125. So they are trying to, in this document, have some things sealed. I hereby certify the true and correct copies of the motion to temporary seal Exhibit 1 of the state's response to the defendant's 10th supplemental request for discovery where served on the following in the manner of, and it shows that it went to Ann Taylor through e-file or emailed. Wow. Unreal, friends. Okay, where are we here? Okay. Been there, done that. Okay. One more document to go through. It's a short one as well, 5 pages. Your stories are, you got to share some stories there, James. You really do. We seem to get like bits and pieces, but it sounds like you might have some really, really good stories. I'm just totally off. I'm off the booze. I ended up in a cell of a town I didn't even remember going to. That was a wild night. So right now, she said they're saying she's working from home. She was in the hospital for a few days for some type of medical emergency. So we're basically waiting to hear back from the Supreme Court to see what their ruling is as far as the judge herself goes. Will she be recused? Will she recuse herself? And the lawyers, Rosie and Baldwin, the original lawyers, what some people call his rightful lawyers, are trying to get back in. And they have come out with documents saying that they will work pro bono. This is causing another issue because she has decided to get 2 other court-appointed lawyers. One of them happens to be a good friend of hers. So, there's stuff going on. Okay, let's see here. Let's take them through. So again, plaintiff, Idaho, defendant, Kohberger. Hydration. Carrie. Yeah, I had that problem at one time. Yeah, ice cream pails became my best friend when I was younger. But it was, it's one thing when you're younger, you get over that a lot faster. But then as you get older, yeah, it's not that easy. Okay. I am just going to do this for a second, my friends, and we'll start going over this document. What am I doing? Okay. There we are. So we'll read this, and then maybe we'll quickly talk about the 24 days of Christmas that we're working on. Working hard, but all these criminals keep acting up. It's like, what the hell? Take a day off, criminals. Every time we turn around, more criminals in trouble, more criminals deleting people. It's like, are you kidding me? Honestly, if I wanted to do short videos, just little short, this has happened, that's happened, this has happened, that's happened, I could do it 24/7. I really could. And probably not leave US and Canada. No criminals, no channel. And there's that. Unique criminals. Tony. There is that. Oh my God. For you guys that are watching, not on the live, it comes up with no criminals, no channel. You need criminals. Oh my God, I love chat. Alrighty, let's do this. To the defendant, Bryan Kohberger and counsel Ann Tabor. Comes now the state of Idaho by and through the Latah County prosecuting attorney and submits the attached Exhibit 1 in response to defendant 10th supplemental for discovery filed November 8th, 2023. The state incorporates the following responses as fully set forth at this point. State's response to request for discovery filed on January 23rd, 2023. State's response to defendant's first supplement request for discovery filed on February 21st, 2023. State's response to defendant's second supplemental request for discovery filed on March 29, 2023. State's response to defendant's third supplemental request for discovery filed on May 12, 2023. The state's response to defendant's motion to compel discovery filed on May 12, 2023. State supplemental response to defendant's first, second, and third supplemental requests for discovery filed on June 8, 2023. State's response to defendant's fourth supplemental request for discovery filed on June 6, 2023. State supplemental response to defendant's fourth supplemental request for discovery filed on June 6, 2023. State's response to defendant's second motion to compel discovery filed on June 29, 2023. State's response to defendant's third motion to compel discovery filed on July 5th, 2023. State supplemental response to defendant's second supplemental request for discovery and defendant's motion to compel discovery filed on July 12, 2023. State's supplemental response to defendant's second motion to compel discovery filed on July 12, 2023. State's response to defendant's fifth and sixth supplemental requests for discovery filed on July 25th, 2023. The state's supplemental response to defendant's third motion to compel discovery filed on August 30th, 2023. The state's response to defendant's seventh supplemental request for discovery filed on September 6, 2023. State's response to defendant's eighth and ninth supplemental request for discovery filed on October 24th, 2023. The state has and will continue to provide discovery in accordance with Idaho Criminal Rule 16 and applicable law, and reserves all and any and all objections thereunder. This was dated on the 20th of November by the Senior Deputy Prosecuting Attorney, Ashley Jennings. I hereby certify the true and correct copies of the state's response to supplements, defendant's 10th supplemental request for discovery were served on the following in the manner indicating below, e-filed or served, emailed to Ann Taylor. So there's that, guys. Oh, so what do you guys think? You're all in Mars? So we're working on the 24 days of Christmas. They're probably not going to be long, but for each day, there will be something covered that happened on that exact day on whatever year. So we had a live for the members a few days back. We went through it and have come up with who we're going to do. I'm undecided if I'll put that out or not. If I do, it'll probably be in the, let's see here. I'll probably have it on my channel in the community tab is what I'm thinking. So yeah, we've got that. And then I think we've covered everything, friends. I think we're pretty much up to date. Again, they're either holding or upheld that protest outside of the courthouse in Delphi. So if you're there, go help us show our support for the victims and their families. And as far as Kohberger, slow and steady. That's the way they seem to be going. We're going to have to wait and see at trial what we actually have as far as facts. Hopefully they've got enough, because the DP is a pretty serious result. But if he did this, yeah, firing squad, you betcha. Just make sure they got the right guy. I believe they do. I really, really believe that Bryan Kohberger is the guy. So guys, let me know down below what you think. How do you feel about the cameras? Do you think that this is a good alternative than having one of the media have a pool camera? And do you think we're going to get justice for these kids? You know, this monster, He just showed up in the middle of the freaking night while they were sleeping and took them away from their families and friends. So once again, guys, this is who we are fighting for. This is why we do our lives. This is why we share our videos. This is why, this is why it's a big deal. These are not just caricatures. These are actual people and families, so let's not forget that. And if this bastard is guilty, let's hang him. I'm in. Hang him high. So, friends, thanks again for being here with me. I appreciate you a ton. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.